there. Good to see everybody. Do me a favor, everybody, whether you're watching this right now, next month, next week, hit the like button. Do me a favor, hit the like button. And I want to have a nice talk today. Do me a favor. And then the second thing I'd like you to do, write down in the comment section where you're watching from, the city, state, country, zip code, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I just want to know where people are from around the country, because there's new people pouring in all over the place. And I think, you know, the reason that this channel is growing so fast is because we want to change the system. It doesn't work. You know, this system of I'm a cowboy and I got a badge and I'm gonna come in here and save the day. What's going on? Where is everybody from? Hit the like button. Do me a favor, everybody, hit the like button. Take your finger and pop. Just give it a little tap tappy. Give it a little tap tappy. What's going on, everybody? Love you too. It's so good to see you. So good to see everybody. I have another audit coming out that is absolutely fire. And later tonight, I'm not sure if I'm going to release the Ricky Hobby video tonight or release it first thing in the morning. I may release it first thing in the morning because it gets more traction if I release it at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, even as early as 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. If I release the Ricky Hobby video, I can release it tonight, but I don't know if it'll do as well. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Make sure you guys get over to Delete Lawz Clips. Get over to the channel Delete Lawz Clips and subscribe over there. I got Colin over there doing the editing and cutting, splicing together and putting things together over there on Delete Lawz Clips. And that channel is growing as fast as this channel, faster. More views are going on over there on Delete Lawz Clips. So you're just getting the fire of the edit over there on Delete Lawz Clips. So everybody pop over there, say hello to Colin if you would. Please tell him I sent you. And what is going on with the Playboys? Who is in the room today? I'm driving along and I was thinking I was gonna go by this. I've got a big surprise for you guys. You're gonna love this. I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna share with you. I'm gonna show you. I gotta drive to Hollywood right now, so I'm going to Hollywood. Hollywood. What's going on? True North Transparency. Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates piggies. Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs. He is in the room. What's going on? Jeff hates pigs. How are you, my friend? What's going on? The tribe. What's going on? Tribe Bronco Nation family. What's going on, dude? Good to see you, man. Good to see everybody. American. Red light. What's going on? Chevy the songster. What's going on, Chevy Songster? How are you, my friend? Mike Lang. Good. I can only read names when I stop, so I wanted to just read a few here. First name, what's going on? Lenny, how are you? May have been. Delete Lawz Clips just started at 14,000 or 15,000 subscribers or something like that. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. All that really matters is the change. And, you know, I think that we're starting to see now from all the videos being made that the practices and procedures of peace officers in the United States of America is so disgusting that we cannot allow the torture cuffs to continue. You know, what's the lowest hanging fruit? The lowest hanging fruit that we should be taking on are torture cuffs and attack dogs. And the reason is because the #1 lawsuit against peace officers organizations, sheriffs, county, city, borough, district cops is neuropathy, and that's damage from the torture cuffs. And then we should start to look at going after the manufacturers of torture cuffs. There's no reason in the world in 2022 Americans should be shackled like pigs. There's just absolutely no reason. It just should not happen. I mean, even people who have to be restrained. Let me help you guys out from, you know, 30 years of being on the mat, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, pancration, sambo, every different kind of art. I've done it. And the hardest thing in the world to do is to get someone's arms behind their back. I'm not sure if you guys know that or not. In wrestling, it's called a double arm bar. It is really hard to do. It's really hard. Meanwhile, though, people want to clam up like this. It's really easy to strap them shut like that. So these torture cuffs have got to go. torture cuffs have got to go. It's preposterous that we're still allowing it, because we are the sovereign, we are the power, we are the populace, we carry all of the power. We are a Republican representative government. Thank you, I appreciate that. 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 God bless you, honey. Don't be so angry, honey. You look like you had a sad face. Oh, you know, you almost hit somebody else. Gosh, she's driving really erratically. Anyway, so we are the power. You and I are the sovereign. We are the power in this country. And, you know, just so you guys know, if you ever have someone, a friend, a loved one, someone you care about who's drug off to the dungeon, do not leave a family or friend member in the dungeon. Do not leave a family or friend. Do not leave a family or member of your family. Do not leave a friend or member of your family. Do not leave any friend or member of your family in the dungeon. Do not. When you get the call, remember, I said this the other day, you don't ask what you do, you ask what happened to you. Just some tips, because everybody's getting arrested. Everything is arrestable. We're seeing it like it's wildfire growing. Oh, thanks for the super chat, Chevy. Man, my lips today, I think I actually need water, and I had promised myself I was going to grab water, and then I didn't. I'm such a dunce cap. I'm such a dunce cap, I swear. So, we are allowing these organizations that no longer even call themselves peace officers, they call themselves law enforcers. We are allowing them to use torture cuffs on us. And to me, that truly is the lowest hanging fruit, because demanding someone or trying to force someone to put their arms behind their back or lay on your belly like you're a dog is absolutely ridiculous, preposterous, and the stupidest kind of physical thing you could do to another person. If you try to get my arms behind my back, it's going to take more than you. It just will. Unless you want to use lethal force on me, which is what we're seeing. And we're seeing it all over the country, everywhere we go. So we absolutely have got to change these things. And what's the thing we need to change? Torture cuffs. From now on, every time, you guys type it in the comment section as many times as you possibly can. End torture cuffs. End torture cuffs. We do have a website coming out. I'm supposed to beta test today. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait though. And I will beta test that website. We're pretty close to having end torture cuffs done. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot. Greg B, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. God bless you guys, man. I really appreciate you. So just so you guys know, the Ricky Hobby video about your Second Amendment right being completely stripped. I'm sorry, I wish I could read more comments, but the Ricky Hobby story coming out about his rights being completely and utterly stripped away from him, ripped away from him. All his crime was doing was actually having a gun on him. That's the story. And so what I'm asking is, I'm asking people in Muskegon, Michigan to go to the trial to see what Ricky's core criminal conduct is. I want to know what Ricky's core criminal conduct is. I want to know what the prosecutor is going to say the mens rea is. What is his crime? Other than having a gun on him, getting in the car, shutting the car door, and then now he has a concealed weapon according to the state of Michigan. That's preposterous. Ricky's never been in trouble. He's 64 years old. Now you're going to charge him with a felony? He has to die a felon? Just so you guys know, 64, you're in the second half of your life for sure. So it's unbelievable to me how far we've gone. We've allowed and accepted torture cuffs, and then we've accepted every single Republican and conservative president and Supreme Court to strip us of our gun rights. The 1968 Omnibus Crime Bill stripped it. What's going on? I know it. Deanna, what's going on? It'll come back into focus. Just give me a second. I'm going through a part of Los Angeles that I'm going to have a little choppy internet. It's notorious right here for not having internet. It's so strange too, because it should work. It makes me think that there's some sort of, you know, who feels like there's something going on right now? Who feels like there's something going on? They're doing something right now. It's so weird. It's like, I mean, I think the big one that we all noticed was Epstein, how they could charge Ghislaine Maxwell with all these crimes, but then the people who committed the crimes were never brought out. I mean, we're seeing it. It's just crazy. It is just crazy. And the cops, you know, the body cams were really supposed to be in our favor. And now the body cams are being hidden for months or years. And we're seeing that all over the country. We're seeing it all over the country, that the body cams are being hidden for months and years at a time. So because of that, because of what you're seeing all over the country, I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna show you guys some couple things. I like to have a surprise, but so the new trifold is 98% done. I just left the factory. That's pretty exciting. As a matter of fact, I have a sample here, but I'm not gonna show it to you. I'm not gonna show it to anybody until it's 100% done, but it's almost done. It's almost done. Super close. We got the pieces in place. This is so cool. I'm so stoked. I think that these are really gonna help people because there's a way to, I'm not gonna say anything else. I don't wanna ruin the surprise. I want everybody to see when it comes out. But yeah, it's taken a few trips down to the factory. What's going on? You have rights, cops have duties. What's going on, my friend? How are you? You know, and just so you know, they're still doing shenanigans down there in Nye County, Nevada. Oh, and then my friend JNS, he started a channel called Reunite America. He put a video out, and he just is such a loyal guy and such a loyal friend up there in Toledo. So JNS, big shout out to you guys. Thanks for your friendship. I appreciate it. So we have to focus, though, as a unit on the lowest hanging fruit. And that are the torture cuffs and the attack dogs. That's the things that you and I have to focus on. When you see someone torture cuffed, and we're gonna have in torture cuffs, it's gonna be done here pretty quick. When you guys see someone, Janine, what's going on? Thank you so much, I appreciate it. I got a copper who said he would come and do an interview with me face to face. Copper named Steven, Officer Steven. I can't wait for this video to get cleared by YouTube so you guys can see this video. I can't wait. I cannot wait. What's going on, Troy? What's going on? V Boyer Chevy. What's going on? I can only shout names out for a second when I'm sitting here at the stop sign. Bronco Nation family. In torture cuffs is almost done. We just are going through beta testing. It's almost done. It is so close, and I think that is going to be a really great website. And so we don't stop. That's a fact. What's up, Julian? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, my brother. Nice to see you. Good to see you. Always, you know. You know, sometimes when I drive through LA, you guys know if I see a cop and he has someone pulled over, that there's almost 100% chance that I'll audit him because I got to go pick something up, but I'm still 38 minutes away from where I got to pick something up. So when you drive into Hollywood at 5 o'clock, it's just always a nightmare, but I have to go pick something up. I have limited time left here in town, and then I got to get out of town here real quick, you know? So yeah, in torture cuffs is coming. My buddy Chuck, what's up, Chuck? What is going on? Yeah. Listen, it's not an easy road that we're on, y'all. If you want to fight and you want to be a freedom fighter, you're always going to be, thank you for the super chat. You're always going to be under budget. You're always going to be overtired. You know, I'm trying to get everybody's videos out. Everybody needs help from this police state, prison state, death state. There's so many people that contact me every day. There's a couple people in here who know me that I'm really close friends with, but so many people contact me a day and say, please help me. Please come to this county. Oh, this sheriff's department's worse than any other sheriff's department you've ever heard of. Every day, dozens of people contact me and ask me to help them. And sometimes those emails get through and sometimes they don't. It's all over the country. It's not just happening to you. It's happening everywhere. Small towns, big towns, cities, rural, urban, everywhere. Black, white, tall, skinny. Maybe the laws were crafted against black people and I've preached it 1,000 times, but they are certainly being used on all of us. They're being used on all of us for facts. That's a fact. Even some of the, so now what they're doing, I'm not sure when I say their laws are being used against all of us now, they're even hitting the middle class white folks because they, instead of investigating your crime, there's no money in that. So they'll spend the money giving tickets to middle class folks. And that includes, by the way, young black men. Over 70% of young black men are now in the middle class. So that means they're giving tickets to anybody who can pay them instead of investigating crime. And that's how the police are allocating and distributing the protection that we're forced to pay for. So, and this still goes back to the 1994 crime bill. Each cop shop in America makes money for drug arrests. Every single arrest that has drugs in it, whether that be a possession charge or a gigantic manufacturer, they all get bonuses through the 1994 crime bill for drug arrests. That's why if you're a kid and you get caught with a pipe and it's paraphernalia and they could charge you with a crime, they're getting money from the 1994 crime bill for charging you with that pipe. It doesn't matter how small it is, they're getting money. Because of the 71 declaration of the war on drugs by Richard Nixon. This is how everything is happening through legislation created for an authoritarian police state that Biden is the biggest cop sucker you've ever met. You have no idea. He'll even be like, oh, come on. We need cops. It's not, oh, come on. We don't. We need rights protectors. We need peace officers. So I just wanted to... I want to make sure that we aim our targets correctly. If you hear about any torture cuff victims, if you hear about any victims of dogs attacking them, those are the stories. We need to get cameras in the courtroom. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. I was watching an auditor's channel earlier, and they were saying that they couldn't bring their phone in the courtroom. And I was like, oh my God. That's the crux of all evil. Without transparency, you don't have liberty. Without liberty, you don't have justice. Without justice, you don't have freedom. I mean, it just goes round in a circle. If you allow, and we continue to allow the rights that are God-given for them to be closed down at the doors of the courthouse, then we're going to get worse and worse. And I don't care how you feel about guns. It doesn't matter, because number one, the guns will not be taken. But number two, we should stand in alliance together with any gun law is a bad law, and to strip all gun laws. Because here in Los Angeles, if we could only all have our own gun rights, then you know what? We may not have so many problems. If you're walking down the street and you're carrying and you're strapped, you might not have a problem with somebody. Because I've got a gun on my side and it's legal. So that's just how I see it. Would some people die? Some people would, sure. Some people would die more people would die from gun accidents for sure. But I think it'll be a better society when we all can have self-protection. I talked about this earlier on Delete Lawz Clips channel. If you're walking in the house, walk out of your car and you get out and there's a gun on your side and you walk into the front door of your house and someone's casing your house and watching your house and they see you get out of the car with the gun on your side, and they see you go in with the gun on your side and you shut the door, they go, oh man, he's got a gun on him. I don't know if I want to rob that house. I was going to do a home invasion and rape somebody, but I'm not going to do it there. I'm not going to do it at that house, right? That's the fact. An armed society makes a much more polite society, and criminals are going to be deterred if we have our own guns, and the police would have to take a step back, because if you were suffocating or murdering somebody in front of the populace and we all have guns, that might change it. There it is right there, isn't it? There couldn't be an authoritative government, statist, despotistic state of America if we all had straps, because when George Floyd was being choked out, I feel like 3 or 4 people might have pulled and said, hey, stop. It's something to think about. I was just thinking out loud driving down the road thinking, that's a fact, Jack. Woo! I hit that light. I made it. Nice. Perfect. That's the reason why they don't want us to have guns. I just figured it out loud, didn't I? Go ahead, dude. Cross the crosswalk. They don't want us to have guns because If you were watching Rodney King or George Floyd, someone with common sense who had a strap on him might make the cops go, hey, cops, stop hitting him with sticks. The real bad one was Kelly Thomas, where it was in the night and they beat Kelly Thomas to death. If all of us were strapped and someone passed by there and saw those cops beating him to death, it might be a game changer against cops, because good people who have self-protection may want to stop tyrannical, murderous cops. Imagine if in a town like Memphis, where there were no gun prohibitions and everybody was strapped, and someone passed by as they were beating Tyree to death in handcuffs, would the good citizen have pulled out his firearm and demanded that the police stop? It's an interesting hypothetical, isn't it? If we could all actually be able to carry our self-protection, concealed or open carry, would that make the police change their behavior, because they would know in a tyrannical police state that would have it would end it. It would end it, because so just think it through here. Think it through. Here's the reason why. I just figured this out. So for all the Second Amendment folks who watch Second Amendment channels and DLZ clips, you can probably take a clip out of this. The reason why the government wants to restrict guns to the populace is because it would end the absolute tyrannical police state that we live in. When the police attacked your son or daughter or husband or uncle or brother, and you were watching that attack happen and it was savage, if every person in the room had a firearm, it's more than likely that good people would take action to stop the beating. Interesting. Because there's no reason to beat my uncle to death. He'll go with you. I'll help you take him. You don't need to sit and beat him and kick him. But that's what we're seeing time and time again on camera. So they don't want us to all have firearms, because then we would be able to halt the police state, right, that happens before us. The torture, the abuse, the despotism. And so they wouldn't want that. Interesting, right? Am I incorrect about that? I think I'm right. Think about it. If you were on scene and the best example would be George Floyd, because there's a half a dozen or a dozen people standing around watching the cop drain the life out of George Floyd. Whether you like George Floyd or not, doesn't matter. A cop did put his knee on his neck, whether he was on meth or not, doesn't matter. What if they tested my blood and I had marijuana in my blood? Then do I deserve to be choked out to death with a knee on my neck? So that's the point, though. Let's use the George Floyd example. As George Floyd is having the life drained out of him one moment at a time, there was a group of people standing around filming, and they were all saying, please stop, please stop. They were all asking the Derek Chauvin to stop killing George Floyd. They all asked him, hey man, and so a couple of them were freaking out. Yo man, you're gonna kill him. I remember it. And so if we were all an armed populace at that point, and you have to ask yourself this, if it was an armed populace and we all were either carrying open or concealed carry, and that would mean probably, 40% of us would probably carry a firearm, I'm guessing. I don't think half of all men and half of all women would carry if we were allowed to actually carry a gun. What do you think the percentage is? What do you think? How many percentage of men and how many percentage of women would carry a gun, concealed or open carry, if there wasn't restrictions on our gun rights? What percentage of men and what percentage of women? What percentage of men and what percentage of women would carry a gun? I mean, I already do when I'm not in California. So what do you think? What would that percentage be? And then if you were watching despotism, if you were watching murder, whether it be by a cop or anybody else for that matter, would you be willing to use your firearm in at least a threatening way? Would you want to? Would you? I mean, if you were watching someone slowly choke the life out of another person and you could see the person was dying, which everybody could see on camera, the man's dying, you're killing him. Would you use your firearm, or would you threaten it, or would you move into a position of authority? That's a fair question. That's a fair question. These are all rational questions. These are all thought questions. And is that the reason why the government discourages and even criminalizes? And as you well know, if you have a gun around the cops in America, they'll just kill you. If there's a gun on your lap, a guy got killed the other day, they killed him. They went to his window with guns drawn as he was asleep and then woke him up, and they killed the lady's grandson sitting in the driveway. I just saw it the other day. So these are just fair questions that you have to ask. I don't know if firearms would be the way to do it, right? So let's say you are standing there watching George Floyd be choked out and his life being drained out one moment at a time. I don't think drawing a firearm against those piggies would have been the proper response. I think enough people going to help, hey, we'll help you get him off the ground and arrest him. That's the way I saw it anyway. When I saw the video, I initially said, I think I would have, because a lot of cops, because how I look, a lot of cops, when they had the lockdowns here's a simple example, and I'll come right back to the story. This is my exit. When they had the lockdowns here and the National Guard came in, I went down and I filmed the George Floyd protests. And when the National Guard had surrounded this dude, and this dude was cuckoo, he was cuckoo. They had surrounded this guy, but he was really like tweaking and stuff. And so I just walked right into the middle of the circle where the guy was, and I grabbed him. I said, yo, come with me. And he looked at me because he was crazy. And I said, listen, if you don't come with me, these National Guardsmen are going to jump you and put you in torture cuffs and throw you in the back of that truck. And then the cuckoo guy said, okay. And he walked away with me. And then I walked down with him, and I trying to negotiate with him how he was going to get home, because he was just cuckoo. And so he needed a family friend member, someone to give him his meds and to get him to calm down, which I was able to do a little bit. This is, a couple of people have video of this. And so then when I finally agreed to get him on a bus, I got him on the bus. And then when I went back by the National Guardsman, the National Guardsman said to me, are you undercover PD? And of course I said, no, I'm not undercover PD. They said, oh, we thought you were undercover PD. I said, no, I'm not undercover PD. So, I lost my damn train of thought. I can't remember my damn train of thought. I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about a second ago? I said I'll come right back to it. God bless it. Hardly ever happens to me. What was I saying? What was I saying, Les Paul? What was I saying? What was I saying? I was saying something just now, and I said I'll come right back to it. I put him on the bus, but before that I came to this story. Oh, George Floyd. So that, okay, thank you guys, I appreciate it. So I was able to do that with that guy who was crazy. I mean, this guy was, I mean, I'm trying to tell you, he was like doing stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I know what crazy looks like. I've seen crazy before in my life, so I know how to deal with it. So I went over and I just explained to him it was time for him to straighten up, and I needed to take him away from these guys, and he let me do it. So, but that's the question: is would you intervene if it was an armed populace into the despotistic state? And I still don't know I never looked it up. I know people gave me a lot of answers on despotistic, despotado. You say despotado, I say potato. You say despotado, I say despotato. I mean, if you can't have fun, then what's the matter with you? You know, if you don't like to dance and you still can, then you should, right? If you can still dance, then you should. You should spend some time dancing. It'll make you better. It'll make you, you know, I'm getting my weight down where I'm able to run, you know, 30, 50 yards at a time now. So I feel good about that. And, but you should. So I just don't know. I think that's the reason why that the government doesn't want us to have arms, because if we were armed, then these coppers would not be able to just beat the shit out of our relatives in front of us, and we just have to sit and watch it. I think that's the reason why we all can't be armed, because there's some people, when the cops walk up and beat the shit out of them in front of their parents or their mom or dad, either way, you're beating up my dad or my son or my uncle or my cousin in front of me. And if we were all armed, I think that the government fears that we would stop that from happening. Because, to be honest, would it be wrong? I mean, would it be wrong to stop the beatings of these disgusting tyrants that are beating, raping, killing, and maiming us? Would that be wrong? You know? I'm talking about a hypothetical here, Scout Bob. I'm talking about a hypothetical situation. I'm talking about a completely hypothetical, where if we were all allowed arms and if we could all open carry or conceal carry, would that stop the police state, prison state, death state? It's a hypothetical conversation, and I'm having it. And if it's just so, you know, if they want to try to, oh, he said that if there was an armed society, would that stop the police state? Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking. Would the Kelly Thomas, if you walked by the cops and it was an armed society and everybody had arms, and so you knew that the 6 cops beating him to death clearly were all armed, and that he was not armed and he was just taking this killing, would you intervene? It's a fair question. I wouldn't alone. I wouldn't unless it was in the hypothetical with like dozens of other people joining me. I'm not going to try to start anything. And by the way, this is exactly what Hobbes taught in Leviathan. This is exactly what he taught because a lot of people will ask me, well, don't the Enlightenment thinkers, don't they often talk about eat my shorts, punk? I can't go anywhere. It's traffic. That's the thing is, when you talk about the first creators of social contracts, you have John Locke and Hobbes, and so when you talk about Hobbes, what did Hobbes say about overthrowing government? What did he say about if it became a state of despotism, what should you do? Should you overthrow the government? And Thomas Hobbes, who's also going to be the author of the Natural Man. If you don't know what The Natural Man is by Thomas Hobbes, that's quite a adventure for you to go down on a rabbit hole here on the internet, especially on YouTube. The Natural Man by Thomas Hobbes. And so what Hobbes said specifically, though, in his book Leviathan, was that if the government is to be overthrown, it shouldn't be started by you. But if it's already started by somebody else, well, then maybe you should join in. Which is really weird. Which is really a weird way to put it. But that's how Thomas Hobbes puts it in Leviathan. So, and by the way, Leviathan is extraordinarily complicated. If you're going to have anything to do with it, make sure that you go to Professors of Leviathan on YouTube and you listen to multiple different lectures, and then, have someone read it to you on AudioVox on the free book reading service that's available here on YouTube. But, all of these things, especially, I'm teaching constitutional law scholar as soon as I get back to the studio. And a lot of the things that I teach, remember, I'm autodidactic. So everything I've ever learned, I've learned by watching professors online or by auditing classes or a whole, come on, dude. Don't be a fucking dick. You're a fucking dick. You are. Oh, you're from Florida. Go figure. Must be new to California, you prick. sorry for the language. It's just, and you know, if you're smart here in Cali, you don't show any sort of road rage. You just don't get involved with other people. Because people are nuts. People are nuts. Don't get yourself wrapped up in anything. Trust me, there's bigger fish to fry than having a beef with some idiot driving here in California. So yeah, you know, when the time comes, if it comes, you'll know when that time comes. And you know, we're really one real, to be honest, one martyr away from seeing massive revolt across this country. You know, and you know, luckily the police chief realized that there was a wide angle camera and that she wasn't going to be able to hide the body camera footage, which, let me just tell you something. Let me tell you something clear, because I'm stopped here for a moment. In every single police department, sheriff's department, in almost every single one of them right now today, they're hiding a murder. In every single cop shop in America who has rights to the body cam footage and you can't get the body cam footage released, they're hiding a murder. So how many cop shops are there in the United States of America? How many sheriff's departments are there? How many law enforcement departments are there in America? Each and every one of them has body cam that they're hiding a death. My personal hypothesis. Prove me wrong, but I don't think you can. They're all hiding a death. Ronald Green, Louisiana, I have that entire body cam footage that they took off the internet, but I have it. So it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It really is incredible. So I saw a video this morning on Instagram where the woman was saying, she was talking and she was speaking from another country. She was talking about China. And she said that China, there's going to be all these revolts. All these revolts are going to happen in China as they push and fight and go for freedom, where they try to get freedom in China to get away from communism. And then it cuts to another guy and he goes, and it will never happen. They disarmed the Chinese people. The Chinese people don't have arms. They'll never be able to break away from the communist regime. The communist regime will always win. It will always come in and crush the uprising because they don't have arms, because they stripped all their firearms. And then the woman comes back on and says, so don't ever let them take your firearms, America. So that's where we are now. We're right now in a battle for our firearms, which is why I'm airing Ricky Hobby's video. And I can't corroborate a lot of the things he's telling me, but I can ask people to go to Muskegon, to go there and go to his trial and see if there's any core criminal conduct. We can find out from there if there's any core criminal conduct in the Ricky Hobby story coming out. I'm gonna air it in the morning. I'm not gonna put it out right now, because I'd have to put it out now because it's 7 p.m. on the East Coast. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm going to put it out in the morning so that more people will see it. But they're screwing this guy just for having a gun. And it's just got me it's got me sick at night. It's got me sick just thinking that he's going to be charged with a felony. And so I want people in Muskegon and around the Muskegon, Michigan area to go to the trial on the 13th. The trial's the 13th. So we only have a few days left before he's on trial. They offered him a deal. They offered him a public offender, the public pretender. He said, I'm not taking your deal. I'm not taking a public pretender. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't broken the law. Ricky Hobby did not waffle in the face of the crap they were offering him because he's not a criminal. You're not a criminal because you have a gun. It's just so preposterous. Mikey, Greg, what's going on? What is going on? Chevy. What's going on, Top Rock? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I'm just reading some of the comments here real quick. So that's where we are. That's where we are. Ricky Hobby's story is going to be coming out. I can't wait. I cannot wait to show you guys this. Well, you know, it's just him talking, but I want you to hear his story. And I had to edit the audio a little bit, and I had to add in some stuff so that you guys could see some things that he sent me. And it's just crazy. It's just, we're living in such a garbage police state. It drives me absolutely batty. Bronco Nation family. What's going on with the Playboy? What's going on with the Playboy? Yeah, my hair's finally growing out a tiny bit. The really cool barber guy, he went a little too short, but I like him. I just look like a jarhead, that's all. I won't in about 2 weeks. Just give me 2 more weeks. Oh, it's not 2 lanes. This is a 1 lane. Okay, no big deal. Everybody's pretty chill right around here. Pretty chill right around here. Pretty easy. Pretty easy going. I'm telling you, got a bad rib injury. Oh, it's killing me. And I got a heel injury as well. You know, I loved doing jiu-jitsu and MMA and I loved all these sports when I was a kid. They just hurt now. It really hurts. It's really painful. It's a lot of pain. You take a beating. All right. Anyway, I only wanted to come on for a little while. I wanted to give Delete Lawz clips, some stuff to clip out of this too, because I know there's some things that have to be said out loud. And it's interesting conversation, you know, about the reason why they're limiting our gun rights. I think that's an interesting conversation. I think that an armed society, if everybody was armed, I think that that would have a dramatic and immediate effect on the police state, because then when they pull people over, well, they wouldn't pull people over as much unless they absolutely had to pull people over, because then they would know when they come to the car that everybody in the car has a firearm. So that would mean that as a man or as a woman, as a person, when you go to pull someone over, when you're walking up to the car, you don't have to ask if there's a weapon in the car. You know there is. Everybody has a gun. So then what does that do? Now, you're just giving the guy a ticket. So I can take a ticket and not want to go to firearms. Do you? I don't want to go to shooting at each other over a ticket. Even if I disagree with the ticket, I still don't want to go to shooting at each other over a ticket. I don't want to go to shooting at each other at all. I like having thumbs and fingers, and I like breathing air. I have zero desire to go to a shootout. But what that would do, though, is as a man, even if you claim the right to be a peace officer, or a law enforcer, almost a car accident in front of me, a peace officer or a law enforcer, that would change the way that you would behave when you walked up to a car. You wouldn't just decide you were going to just, okay, step out of the car and get in torture cuffs, because you already know they have a firearm. So you just have to engage with them about the probable cause for the reason that you're pulling them over. Now, you know the difference between probable cause and reasonable articulable suspicion. Put a 1 in the chat if you know the difference between probable cause and reasonable articulable suspicion. There's a vast ocean of difference between those two things. So probable cause comes from the Fourth Amendment, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation. So according to the Fourth Amendment, probable cause is when you have broken the law. No warrant can issue without probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation. So that means that that's the Fourth Amendment standard. Reasonable articulable suspicion was created in the 1968 case of Terry versus Ohio that I talk about all the time. Reasonable articulable suspicion means a guy who went to an academy for 6 weeks is now clairvoyant. He's a psychic. He can predict whether he thinks you're about to commit a crime. He can predict whether you did just commit a crime. Now, if you're in the act of committing a crime, which is part of RAS, that's not reasonable articulable suspicion. That is probable cause. That is the Fourth Amendment standard. The witness is the cop who sees you breaking the law, which is probable cause. So, reasonable articulable suspicion includes whether you're about to commit a crime, whether you have committed a crime, if you're in the act of committing a crime. Well, if you're in the act of committing a crime, that's probable cause. So it's just it's for dunce caps who don't do any critical thinking. You know, anybody who has half a brain and watch the Overturned Terry Part 1, 2, and 3, you can see that it was based on race. Otherwise, if being arrested is when your motion is stopped, your ability to travel to or fro, then that would mean that detainment is arrested. And then Hugo Black, member of the KKK, says, well, I could see how you could be detained but not arrested. Well, if your motion is frozen, then you have been arrested. It is not a question for debate unless words don't mean what words mean. Once you have been detained, you have been arrested. There is no question about it. If my motion is stopped by force or by word, you freeze, stop there. I have been arrested. The stupidity of Terry versus Ohio makes me want to throw my phone against the wall. It's so stupid, right? Why would you throw your phone against the wall? It's the stupidest thing you could do. That's how stupid Terry versus Ohio is. That this guy who went to an academy for a couple weeks and then OTJ, on the job training, is going to have the psychic ability to predict that I was about to commit a stick up. I think about these things all day, every day. I think about it constantly. I think about it like a broken record in my mind. And then I spend most of my day talking to people, listening to people's stories, and seeing how in the world I can help them from the tyrannical police state, prison state, death state that's trying to steal their soul for tax money, or that someone on the other end can make a profit off of your soul living in a dungeon. So that's what I do most of the day, all day, every day. Try to figure out ways I can reach more people to get them to wake the fluck up. And that's what happens. You back the blue until it happens to you. So and they're all in on it. They're all, the big telecommunication companies, AT&T, T-Mobile, whoever runs the phone system there, the guards, the judges, the lawyers, they're all in on the take. The only one who's not is you or your loved one. And don't get me wrong, I want to punish criminals. Don't think I don't want to punish criminals. I do. I don't want anybody stealing anybody's stuff. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I dislike the inhumane treatment for stealing much more than I dislike the stealing. Do you see the difference? I don't want to see people treated bad. We have a 95% recidivation rate. 95% recidivation rate. So what does that mean? That means 9.5 out of 10 people who get arrested, go to prison, go back to prison. So that means the prison doesn't work. But the guy who goes back to prison is harder, meaner, leaner, tougher, knows more tricks, is more evil. Because he's been treated like an animal by evil guards who treat him terrible. That are evil. You guys wait, I got this audit coming out. I sit there and I tell this cop right to his face, you are the devil. You do the devil's work. You do evil to people. And then right in front of me, he stuffs a man into a car in torture cuffs and then slams the door behind him. And then says, we don't do anything wrong to people. Officer Steven, maybe you're watching this because we had quite an interaction. Maybe you're not. I still think you have some, I still think you're a douchebag, bro. I told you were a douchebag to your face. Officer Steven, I'm not going to call you a douchebag face to face, but we're not face to face right now. Ha! Not that I wouldn't call you a douchebag to your face. I did exactly that. I said you are a douchebag right to your face. So I'm not calling you a douchebag when I meet you for an interview, but here's the reason why I said you're a douchebag, Officer Steven. Here's the reason why, if you're watching this. Maybe you're not, maybe you are. I think the cop is a douchebag because he literally treated someone like their body, their soul, their spirit, their mind, their sense of being didn't matter. That him and his group of goons could torture cuff them and then stuff them into a little tiny claustrophobic space. And then drag them down to a dungeon where they'll be strip searched, which is like sexual assault, and then sit there and say to me, I am a child of God. No, my friend. No, no. And I'll let the video speak for itself and let God be your judge. I told you how I feel, the human flesh form of me as a being watching you treating another person that way. I think you're the devil. I think you're the devil. I don't think you're the devil. You know, it's not true. I mean, I get a little hyperbole here, okay? I don't like cops, so I get a little hyperbole. Officer Steven, I don't think you're the devil. I take it back. You're not. And how do I know that? Because I have several ex-cops who I'm friends with that are constantly in touch with me, that give me information, and they are not the devil. So Officer Steven, you are not a devil. What you do is evil. I'm sorry, bro. What you do is evil. You're not a devil, Officer Steven. You can be redeemed. You can pull your soul up from hell. You have all the power to change the trajectory of where I think you're going when you die. And all you have to do is quit that nasty job, repent, and join the side of goodness. Oh, come on. It's a little hyperbole. We're having a good time here, right? It's not all serious. I'm talking a little trash here, right? Obviously, I don't wish a man's soul to eternal damnation. I just get a little fired up, right? I'm not perfect. And I watched him put a man in torture cuffs and then shove him in the back of that car. And head first, by the way, because the guy didn't want to get in. And then I watched them drag him down to a dungeon. And you know what happens there. So, you know, but he's not evil. I mean, I'm trying to square this, damn. I keep going back and forth, don't I? I'm trying to square this, right? I watched him shackle a man up like a pig and drag him down to a dungeon. But he's not evil. Help me with that. Someone help me. Put a 1 in the chat if he's not evil. Put a 2 in the chat if he's evil. Just someone help me. Officer Steven had a big personality. Officer Steven, I've invited to debate you, man, and I want it to be face-to-face, knee-to-knee. I want to have a face-to-face talk with you, Officer Steven. You guys will see the video. 1 in the chat if he's evil, 2 if he's not evil. So, 1 in the chat if he's evil, 2 if he's not evil. Put a 1 in the chat if he's evil, 2 if he's not evil. Because, I mean, you should have seen how they treated this guy. It was horrible. But at the same time, I don't want to be so cold and out to damnation. I mean, Lawz clips, get the fuck out of here. You don't be voting. Everybody gets a vote. Whatever. I don't know. I don't think he's evil. Do you think he's evil? Jeff Hates Pig thinks he's evil. Question mark. Don't know. That's a fair one. A question mark is a fair one. That's a fair one. That's a fair one. I'm just saying it's fair. 1 times 1 is 1. All cops are bad. That's true. You have to be a little bit bad to be a cop. How about that? Is that fair enough? Put in the chat, and this is for Officer Steven. Put a 1 in the chat if you do believe that all cops have to be a little bit bad to be a cop. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that. Is that fair enough? Is that fair enough? Put a 1 in the chat. They have to be a little bit of an arsehole, a little bit of a pig, a little bit insensitive, a little bit inhumane. You know what I'm saying? I'm 1 all the way. Do I want Officer Steven to burn in hell? No, I don't. I really don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Honestly, when I'm not all fired up and on camera and breathing hell, fire and brimstone, I don't want anybody to burn in hell. If there is hell, I don't think there is. I think that there's only heaven. On my DMT trip, I didn't see any hell. So that's what I saw. And don't knock it till you try it. So shut your damn pie hole. But I don't want him to go to hell. I don't think he's the devil on earth. I think he got sucked into the... I mean, like, look, you know, we've seen people. I've seen people come from the troll side to the light side. So I've seen people change, and I've seen people just get rubbed the wrong way. And so, you know, Steven, you know, Officer Steven, maybe he just, you know, maybe he, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You got me? Oh, God bless it. I pulled on the wrong street. God bless America. Oh, look at this lady. She's trying to drive around right here. Oopa. Sorry about that, buddy. Guy's locked in right there in LA. Guy's locked in. So there's the Hollywood Hills, folks, right there. Boom. That's the Hollywood Hills right there. All you have to do is just keep going up and you're in the Hollywood Hills. It's right there. It's amazing. And people knock Southern California, but don't knock it till you try it. Don't knock Southern California till you try it. This place is awesome. Now, there's too many bums and there's too much authoritarian neoliberalism. There's all kinds of weird stuff here, but it's an amazing place to be, amazing place to live. So, you know, I don't think Officer Steven is evil. Mr. Steven, I'm not going to put his last name out because I don't want him to get bombarded with emails and stuff, but Mr. Steven, I don't think is evil. I don't think he's an evil man. I think he got caught up in the moment. That's what I think. I think he got caught up in it. Got caught up in it is what I think. I'm stuck here. I got to be really careful because driving in Los Angeles, it's no joke around here, folks. Just got to be careful. I can't look away. Can I get there? Can I get a yeet yeet? Can I get a yeet yeet? Yeet 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 yeet. I got it. Can I get a yeet, yeet, yeet? Oh, he's going. He's coming. He's coming. I'm going to make it. Yes. Okay. I'm good. So now I'm safe again. Thank God. But yeah, I don't wish officers. I mean, I guess I should take a fair poll. Should I take a fair poll? How many of you guys think cops are going to hell? Put a 1 in the chat if you think they're going to hell. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that they could be saved according to Judeo-Christian beliefs. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that the coppers are going to go to hell, and put a 2 in the chat if you think that maybe they can be saved. You know, I'm just. These are just talks out loud. These are just because I want to give people an honest depiction of what, when I have an interview with this cop, what people think. You know. Wow, lots of 1s, a couple 2s. I think they can be saved as well. I hope. I don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's beyond redemption either, unless they did so many horrible things. I mean, you guys, I'm not a theologian, I'm not a theologist, but I did read the Bible from front to back at 21 years old, cover to cover. So what I learned is that there is a sin in the Bible, according to biblical Judeo-Christian values, which I don't claim to be a Christian. I claim to be a God guy. And I'm a recovering Catholic. So I was raised Catholic. I was a Catholic altar boy. So according to Judeo-Christian, according to Catholicism, according to the Bible, there is a sin that is unforgivable according to the Bible. Does anybody know what that is? I'll give you guys a second to see if you know what that answer is. Do you know what it is? Now, according to the Bible, what I've read in my interpretation of it is that a sin against the Holy Spirit is an unforgivable sin, and you are destined to go to hell. And so I don't know if all cops create a sin against the Holy Spirit according to biblical teachings. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they sin against the Holy Spirit, unless, of course, I don't know what that interpretation would mean. You know, some people say it's blasphemy when you deny Christ. Some people say it's when you murder maliciously and in cold blood. Some people say there's all kinds of interpretations of exactly what a sin against the Holy Spirit is or is not. And for me personally, just so you know, I was a hardcore atheist for 20 years. From reading the Bible, actually, reading the Bible made me a hardcore atheist because I'm a little bit OCD, and so I took it pretty literally, and you're not really supposed to take the Bible literally. And so I hated it. But then after I got older and I had then started to read Enlightenment thinkers and philosophers and people who were changed the way your brain thought from reading Enlightenment thinkers, then what happened was I started to realize that the Bible isn't something you're supposed to take word for word. And if your neighbor works on the Sabbath, you're to kill him. You know, I mean, it's a lot of parables. And to be honest, the Bible is a lot of hyperbole. You know, I mean, remember, you go back to the story of Noah and the ark, and what are you talking about? You're talking about he gets on the ark with his sons, and then all of a sudden they have wives and they have kids, and they just magically appear. So you know, I took the Bible pretty literally. So, and then people lived hundreds of years and all this weird stuff. But truth be told, I don't think it's supposed to be read that way. So I don't know. Oh, hit the like button. Hey, what's going on? Me no damn ID. His username is me damn no ID. Thanks for the membership, man. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was just talking out loud as I drove here. I had to go pick up some stuff here in Hollyweird, so I'm across town from where I don't spend a lot of time here. I'm either in WeHo, Santa Monica, K-Town, Redondo, San Diego, Burbank. You know, there's places I like to go here. And so yeah. So, you know, this has just been an interesting conversation. I just wanted to bloviate aloud. And I got a real treat for you guys coming up, and it was really hard for me not to spill the beans, but I've got something coming up for you guys. You guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna love this. So I'm gonna put out a questionnaire, and do me a favor, I'm gonna put it in the comment section. What do you think cops say to each other? What's the, and don't leave it here in the chat, put it in the comments, put it in the actual comments. What do you think cops actually say to each other? What do you think the inside conversation is? Do you think it's, hey, can you hide this body cam footage? Or what do you think the inside conversation is? Food for thought. All right, listen, I got to get the flock out of here. I'm doing something. You guys are going to be stoked. New trifold's almost done. Maybe a day or two away. Not more. I should have them done by this weekend. Make sure you guys have registered at DeleteLawz.com. Make sure everybody has registered at DeleteLawz.com. I got to get the flock out of here. Thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk. I will see you guys on the next one. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. Later, Gators.